What's up, everyone? This is a very unique podcast episode because I'm actually going to do it solo. So Jay is at home tending to some family. His wife is sick. So there's been some slight changes in today's schedule.
Hey, Deep Stagers, Jay here. I've been in Colorado for the past week, and my sweet wife's been at home holding the fort down, getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And as I came into town today, she kind of hit her limit. So I'm going to be where daddy needs to be. And I'll miss 2 badass episodes. And I'm really, really pissed about that. But I'll see you in a couple episodes and we'll be fired back up.
We're actually going to just shoot this solo with me and a very special guest, which he has a long history of building transmissions in this business, doing this kind of line of work. He's also served in the military with the Navy, and he is celebrating 20 years in business. It is a company that we use on a lot of our race cars, personal race car, and we have worked really well together in pioneering, paving ways, acquiring data, making changes, things like that. And it was thanks to him working with us mechanically on the transmission side that helped us achieve the first Demon Challenger Charger 8-speed trans to go into the 7. So Z was able to do that in his Charger, but we were the first Demon to be able to do that in uncharted territory, a blower that was not supposed to do it. And thanks to ZH Tunes and this gentleman here, which we are super excited to have, Eddie over at SHR, they helped us back and forth, a lot of mechanical changes, achieve that goal. So we're super excited to hear this. Eddie shares a lot of knowledge, especially when it comes to this industry. And we'll touch base and kind of talk with him a little bit about what he does, but he has a lot of knowledge. I mean, 20 years in the business is no slouch. So he's made it through some of the hardest times and some of the easiest times. So we're super excited to hear his input and his story about how SHR started. So Eddie, thank you. Welcome to the pod. Appreciate you.
Glad to be here.
We've been doing a lot of business together over the course of years, but
it's been a little while.
It's been a long time. We are always really appreciative of everything that you do, the knowledge that you do share. But tell us a little bit about SHR. When did you guys start and why?
Well, I was a dealership mechanic. This is, in 2004, of course. That's when we started. Started the company with a $2,000 credit card. So, I was still turning wrenches at a dealership. The fun fact is, we started in October of 2004. Didn't get our first sale until December 31st. I was ready to give up. My beloved bride, Joanne, she said, no, let's wait a little bit. And we got our first sale, and here we are 20 years later. So,
really?
So we started selling parts online. Then we moved to working on cars in my garage in my house. That spun out of control, got our first shop. And in 2008, I believe it was. I think it's 2008. And then we moved in 2010 to this shop, and here we are. And the other big step was stop working on cars probably about 6 years ago to just focus nothing but transmissions and manufacturing parts. So
that's crazy. So that first step from working at the dealership to making the jump of unemployment, how scary was that? And not being, I shouldn't say unemployment, but not being employed by.
No. I get it. Well, so for me, no, I look, I don't know, how can I put this? I'm retarded, so it doesn't matter to me. I mean, look, they can't eat me, so if we lose it all, we'll make more, right?
Yep.
Now, my wife was a different story. We had 2 small kids, And I left a really good job at the time. I mean, really good job. I was one of the master techs at Mercedes-Benz in New Orleans. And I could tell you, I walked away from good money to a big question mark.
Yeah.
Right. So, was it scary for me? No. Did I have concerns? Not really. I knew it was, I could always go get a job.
Yeah.
I was young, I had 100 years left, right? The older you get, the less, when you start realizing you don't have infinite time, then it starts to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Why did you make the change though? What was driving the change? Were you just tired of dealership stuff?
So a couple of different factors, right? So I always knew I wanted my own business, right? Always knew. But at that time, as you well know, when you started your business, you probably, I'm fairly certain you didn't have any idea what having a business meant at that time either.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of things you just don't know until you're on this side, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I wanted to be that, and I was going to little deviate, on the story a little bit. And when I was at Mercedes-Benz, I was going to be a shop foreman, right? At least I thought I was. All right. I didn't get the job. I was pissed that I didn't get the job. Frankly, technically, I was ready for the job. People person, not even close. So I would have been a terrible manager. So it was a good call for them to not make me shop foreman.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to realize that, but I do realize that now. So, and I wanted to be in control of my own destiny. Because I don't know if you ever worked in a dealership, or, a lot of guys watching this probably do work in dealerships. It's basically like having your own business with no perks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all commission, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's a roller coaster, just like this business.
Yeah. So you started working on Mercedes there at your shop, or how?
Wait.
When you started working on cars after you made this change, were you working
Chrysler stuff?
Just Chrysler stuff.
Yeah. So the planets aligned when Mercedes-Benz or Daimler-Benz bought Chrysler, right?
Yeah.
And they put the NAG 1 in, which is just another name for 7226, which is the transmission that I happened to learn on at Mercedes-Benz. It worked out, and then, that was in the beginning, and there was no such thing as late model Hemi performance.
Not at all.
They just didn't exist.
Yeah.
I remember when Diablo Sport came out with the software, right? The CMR software.
Okay, so to rally back, you were working on cars physically, like pulling transmissions out at the beginning stages of SHR?
No. First 3 years or so, man, we just sold parts online.
Really?
And Katrina hit about a year after we started, right? So not quite a year, but almost a year. And as I don't know how much you know about Katrina, but it was devastating for our area. I thought we were going to go out of business, but the good news is, we didn't, right? So we just sold more stuff. It was a crazy time.
How did you navigate that?
Man, just got up and did it one day at a time, brother. I can tell you, the good news is, our business at that time could run anywhere I could have an internet connection, right? Mm-hmm. So, like I said, we were selling parts online, and we did a lot on eBay at the time when you could actually make a little money on eBay.
Yeah.
Right. So much so that those guys, I got to give credit where credit is due, man. Those guys took care. They had power sellers back then. I don't even know if they do it anymore. We don't really sell anything on eBay anymore.
Yeah.
They had power sellers. Man, they put $1,000 in our account, man,
really?
Just because we were in an affected zone.
Wow.
Which was, I didn't know what to say. Right.
That's awesome.
So I actually called them and thanked them.
Wow.
Because it really did help.
Yeah. $1,000 is huge, especially back then. It was huge.
Yeah, it's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, 19 years ago.
19.
Well,
19 and 11 months.
That's right. So, it was, so we did that. We got through that. And then, we rapidly knew that I had to get a shop. And look, man, that's back then. It was like I think the shop, the rent was like $1,300 a month, right? To get a shop. It was a little shop. And man, Joanne was sweating bullets. How are we going to pay for this, all this? I said, well, baby, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, and man, we had more work than we could, we were always packed.
Yeah.
Always.
So Joanne in this mix, she's the rock, your leverage, huh?
I would say that they keep me grounded.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, rock might be the right way to say it, because I'm always going 14 different directions. Right. So the older I get, the more focused I get, so, but it's a good team, right? She keeps me grounded. We talk things out. She works for me every day, right? Full time. So we're together all the time.
What did she do beforehand?
She was a veterinary technician at a veterinary clinic, right? And, we met right when I got out today. We were 22 years old when we got together.
Wow. So she was a veterinary. She was working at a veterinary clinic. You were a mechanic working at Mercedes, and ventured off. She quit to work with your dream.
It was a while after this. She did some stuff to help my grandmother and stuff like that along it. But to work at Southern Hotrod, she didn't start right away, right? It was, it had to be 8 or 9.
Okay.
2008 or 9, something like that.
Yeah.
That she started, and then, look, man, we had to learn all of this stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's one thing to work on cars. It's a whole other thing to run a company. Whole other thing.
It is. So how did you guys, I would assume you guys were married when she came on already, right? So how did you guys navigate the learning to work with each other aspect?
It was never a problem.
Never?
No.
That's awesome. Just that solid of a start.
We're best
foundation.
friends.
Yeah.
We're best friends. There's nobody on earth I'd rather hang out with. So.
Do you ever see a point where you can do this without her, or she would stop working there? Would you leave too? I mean, how is that?
It's pretty funny you say that, because we talk about it a lot, man. Yeah. My view on all of this has changed drastically since my son-in-law has come into the picture. And he just got out the Marine Corps last year. He's been with us.
Had to throw trash. Sorry.
Fair enough. I saw it. Fair enough.
She's getting on to me.
That's funny. I didn't want to say anything because I wanted you to think I was looking at your balls. I was like, well, I'm not gonna say that.
Jeez, that's funny.
But anyway, now that my son-in-law's, we talk about it a lot. Hopefully I'll be semi-retired in the next, 5-6 years, man. Definitely before I'm 60. I'm 53 now. I'd like to be semi-retired.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
So before
I would love my kids to be part of it, but we'll see how it goes.
So before we get to that part of what the future of SHR would be, what drove the decision to stop working on the car aspect of it and just do where people are shipping transmissions in to where you are at now? What drove that decision?
Okay, so the first step was getting rid of the dyno, right? So we had a chassis dyno, and I had a good friend of mine ask me. So we had everything here, right? I mean, we could do bumper to bumper. So let me back up. So I want to tell you this because this is important. So when I learned how to work on cars, when I got to Navy, this old guy that taught me, George Morrow, and he's dead now, but he's a super crazy old guy, but just really good. Anyway, so he'd always tell me, when I started at the Dodge store was very, it was very specialized. All right. So they'd have a brake guy, they'd have an engine guy, they'd have a this, blah, blah. He says, man, you need to learn how to do everything, because when the brake guy got to put brake pads put in, he's going to stand there and make no money. Right. And that stuck with me. Right? And so I decided we were going to do everything. So we had alignment machine in here. We had chassis dyno. We had people doing engines in here. We were building transmissions. We were doing everything in it. It's been about 7-8 years ago. It says, man, why do you have a chassis dyno? Why do you tune cars? He told me. Well, I asked me. And I said, because we got to. He says, why? He says, man, you tune a car, you own it. You own it, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you did something wrong or not. You own the car. So put the chassis dynos for sale, got rid of that. All right? Mm-hmm. That's what started it. Then I started saying, well, why don't we even work on cars? I mean, I had 10 employees in this little building at one point, and I was working to pay everybody but me. Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, transmissions. We've been doing transmissions the whole time. Don't misunderstand. So we did transmissions in my garage.
Yeah.
Right? So that's been an overarching part of Southern Hotrod is transmissions. Best decision I ever made, other than going into business, was to give up working on cars.
I bet that's a big change. So,
yeah. So I wouldn't go back.
The drive to change the working on cars to just having transmission shipped in was just to specialize specifically in one aspect of what you're good at, right? Is that basically?
Well, yes, that's a good way to put it. I think maybe another way to put it would be, I think we're pretty good at everything, right? Mm-hmm. But we can be exceptional, one or two things.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, can we work? Can we do anything on a car? Absolutely. Do I want to? No.
Yeah.
And as you well know, I guarantee you know this, man, there's not a whole bunch of people out there you could trust working on cars without you looking.
Yeah. Yeah, for us to make that change to just not work on every brand, but to be specific to Dodges was an efficiency thing. So if you didn't have to work on all of these different brands and learn how each brand approaches it, right? At the core of it, it's all nut and bolts, but each brand's approach is different. So for us, it was just to be efficient at one brand and to be really, really good at one brand of vehicles. So is that kind of...
I bet you when you started that, everybody thought you were crazy.
Yeah, and it was scary. It was everybody was like, I don't know, why would you do that? Well, and even to this day, we have 1-star reviews because people feel offended that I won't work on their Chevy or their Ford. I have 1-star reviews from people saying he thinks he's a speed shop, but he won't touch the most popular Ford in the world. Dude,
it's as simple. You just tell me you the dick.
Yeah, it's like
look
down the road. You know what I mean? But they're like, how can you claim to be a performance shop if you can't work on Mustangs?
You can work on a Mustang.
I choose not to work on a Mustang.
That's right. That's right. Look, that is the way I used to tell people. They'd say, man, why don't you work on Fords and Chevrolets? I said, basically what you just said, but I said it in a different way. I said, look, man, working on a Ford and Chevrolet is just like going to a restaurant and asking. So Ford, Chevy, Dodge, you go to the restaurant, you ask for a cup of water. Well, Ford might be in Japanese. Chevrolet might be Russian. Mm-hmm. I prefer to speak English. This is what I like. This is what I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So can we do it? I'm sure we can.
Yeah.
And look, truth be told, man, we put a couple of blowers on Mustangs and shit like that, Yeah. But no, and then the other thing is it's saturated. The other guys are saturated. The Mustang, there's a Mustang and a Chevrolet guy on every corner, right?
Yeah.
And if I do what they do, you know where I'm going to be, where they at.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's a lot of the reason why we chose to go with Dodge was you can't find a Dodge place on every corner. And even the ones that are in the area, they're not all that great, period. But
I agree.
What we have to really focus on, or what this allows us to do, which I feel like it's allowed you to do, is to get real familiar and push the envelope for that one brand. Because you can send one trans out and it comes back. Like, let's just say my car, for instance, when we were first going down the Demon. That trans came out probably 3-4 times and went to you to get looked at, inspected, checked, changes, test again.
Definitely before every race. Yeah. Just to make sure.
Yeah. And that inspection process of being able to one stay with one tuner that we know that one tuner consistently tunes one way. So you take that factor out of, someone who's gone from this tuner to this tuner to this tuner to this tuner, and now my trend is broke. So, it's SHR's fault, right? Even though we just went through 3 tuners. Going down that road of you and me and specialized shops, we're able to see the changes, and we're able to make those changes based on the data that we're getting, right? So I feel like...
And the most important thing, and I don't want to interrupt you, but the most important thing that you can't take yourself out of it, right? And that, a lot of shops that we dealt with, and manufacturers, let me rephrase that, manufacturers that we dealt with in the years past, it's always, oh, shit, can't be us.
Yeah.
Can't be us. Can't be us. No. I can tell you right now, the way I tell my guys, man, if we get something back, statistically speaking, we don't get stuff back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we do, we get it back. And I tell them, say, look, man, you got to go into there thinking you did something wrong. So, I mean, that's, and then if there's a question, if there's even a question, we side on the customers. The point I was getting at is, the only way to move forward and make progress is everybody realizes that, look, man, it could all be, any of it could be, it could be you, it could be Z, it could be the car, it could be the track. We don't know until we know.
Yeah.
And then that's the point of development, is to figure out what the problem is. And it's not to point fingers, it's to figure out what the problem is and correct it.
Yeah, that was exciting. It was a very exciting, not easy road to go down.
No. I'll bet.
Trying to run that kind of number is tough, but it takes a team to make it happen. And I don't know if I've ever told you thank you, but thank you. Look, we glad to be part of the little small part of the equation to get you down the track and see that. We're all about it. Yeah, so. And it was awesome to learn as much as we learned, to know as much as we know. With the help of everybody that made the dream happen, made the goal happen. I think it's far surpassed a lot of expectations. And still,
just going to throw this out there, nobody else is doing sales.
Still number one.
That's what I was going to tell you. Yeah. Nobody else is doing it.
Still number one. So
they all trying, but they ain't doing it.
Yep. So what has been some of the hardest things in business that you've had to overcome? 20 years, you've had to see a lot.
Oh, I'll tell you the number one thing. You want to know when shit gets real? If this is when it boils down to this. And I'm a round up, or not round up, just round, the number. When you got $10,000 in payroll and you come in on a Friday morning, you got $6 in a bag. That's when shit gets fucking real.
Yeah.
And I've never missed payroll.
Yeah.
Never, not one penny. Now, I missed my paychecks. But I've never missed the employees, right? Never once. I'm proud of that. So as a business owner, I'm sure you can appreciate
yes.
that. That's one of the tough things. It's just being fluid. That's probably another thing that I don't know how if it's tough, but it's something you have to be, right? What's working today for you is probably, if you did what you did 10 years ago, probably you wouldn't be a business owner, if I had to guess. I know it for us, it would be, right? Managing people, right? That's been my most difficult thing, right? And that's an Eddie Gregory thing, not a Southern Hotrod thing. That's just a me, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been pretty good. People ask me, how did I get through it, right? Because there's some lean times, brother. Some lean times. And I figured it out. It's a bunch of Miller Lite. That got me through it, right? So,
yeah. Because you went through the recession of 2003, 2000. No, what was that?
No, 2008.
8.
Yeah,
that was the tough one.
Of course, that's where we've got our shop. And yeah, but look, man, I will tell everybody this, man. Just remember this, man. And I don't want to get too political, but look, man, we are successful or unsuccessful, not because of the government, but in spite of the government. Don't ever forget that. Ever.
Elaborate on that. Why do you say that?
What the hell's the government going to do to make me successful?
Yeah.
They're trying to shut me and you down every turn. Yeah. Every turn. More so you, because you got you're making more power, right? You're burning more gas. They get to, I'm on your side. Fuck them. But I'm just saying, you know, it just, they don't care.
No.
You know, nobody sees it like, hey man, look, I don't know how many guys you got there, but I mean, you got more, you know, your company and your sales are directly responsible for their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right? Taking care of their family.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You know? So, yeah. I mean, look, people don't look at it that way. I mean, but I'm telling you, man, I'll look at it, you know. Just look, we can't have a bad day.
No.
You know?
I tell everyone that wants to get into this, I don't have to just feed my wife and my kids. I've got the guys, their families, their wives, their everything.
Yeah.
All feeds based off of decisions that I have to make.
100%. I take that very seriously as well.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not just our mouths. It's just not the clothes on mine and Marlene's back. It's the clothes on everybody's back, the food on everybody's table that's here,
that's right.
and that believes in it. So, you know, those decisions got to happen. And, you know, partly so some of that is because we're moving out and building our own facility to get out of renting. And some would think that's more expensive, especially right now. But the savings almost cuts my expenses in half just on a monthly rent, right?
Oh, I get it.
That now we get to keep and put back in. So, you know, those moves happen all the time. They're scary moves because I feel like I'm bleeding out of every pocket possible right now. But yeah, every time I see the contractor call, I'm like, oh man, here we go.
It's money. I mean, I'm hoping that one day, you know, if we could find the right place out here, you know, y'all have an advantage over us because y'all have land. Yeah. Right. I don't mean you personally. I mean just in Texas. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we have nothing.
You got swamps.
I mean, I guess if we put Southern Hotrod on a boat, we'd be all right. But I mean, so we don't even bury people underground here. So, but yeah. So I think it's great that you're building a shop. Man, I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I'm a little envious, but I'm very happy.
Hey, well, we got acreage. We can, you know, move Southern Hotrod. You got to get out of Louisiana.
Don't tell that to my son-in-law because they're like, man, we'd love to move. And I was like, hold on. So the future of Southern Hotrod. What do you manufacturing?
What are we trying to manufacture? Can you share any?
More parts in the ZF platform to start. And we've been talking about doing some stuff, like not even in cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'll discuss that with you later. I can't share that.
Can't share that. Yeah. So moving outside of cars, doing...
but our own products.
Yeah.
Right? But outside of cars. Right? No, we're not... Look, man, I can't imagine a day that we're not doing transmissions, right?
Yeah.
I'd really like to get to a point to where we're making the parts, we put the kits together, we send them to you, and you put them together, and we support you that way, you know, help you in any way we can, hold your hand and get you through it, and you make them.
Yeah, right? That'd be interesting.
Because, I mean, I think that's the future for us, right? So we're, as far as capacity of building transmissions in a timely fashion, we're at capacity.
How many transmissions a month do you build?
Average, maybe 30.
Really? All just for the Dodge platform, or do you...
No. Mercedes-Benz as well.
Mercedes-Benz as well. So the 7662 NAG 1...
7226 or 7226, NAG 1 or whatever. Yeah. So 7226, 7229, which is a later version of the... it's a NAG 2, 7-speed.
7-speed on that one, really?
We do those guys, and we do, you know, the medium and large frame ZF platforms. So 70s, 90s, 95s, 75s too. We do a bunch of valve bodies too. We do a bunch of valve bodies for a lot of people you wouldn't even realize.
Yeah. Are the BMW guys starting to reach out, or is that a platform that you're going to...
They got some other guys that got that locked up. The large frame stuff we could do no problem. You know, the little stuff, man, we don't really do yet. Right?
How different are they? Are they completely different animals from a I think, what is it, a 45?
No. They're just, we don't have a recipe and we don't make parts for those guys, right? So, because it's different diameter frictions and steels, and we don't stock all that. I mean, look, we have a lot of stock on clutches and steels and everything. Man, if we don't have it, nobody in this country does. We stock a lot of Alto stuff. We stock a lot of Raybesta stuff. We do a lot of CF stuff, seal kits, everything. We're pretty deep on that, in-house. That way, if you call me up and you need a transmission next week, we can do it when other people can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You do turn them around pretty quick. Very, very fast. So I would tell you, and everybody listening, look, man, if you call, we can work miracles. You got to go to a race. We'll do what we got to do. But if it's race season and we got a lot of people looking for miracles, we can only do so many miracles in a week. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So we do our best, and we turn them around pretty quick. But the future, going back to that, I started rambling, but the future of the company is manufacturing. That is the key.
So ideally, you might even see me at some point, maybe getting kits from you. Would you offer training, install help, anything like that for shops like me that want to install your kits, or
100%?
Like, okay,
100%. Look, and that's one thing I will tell you that I think we differ from a lot of these companies out there. There's no smoke and mirrors. I mean, you can attest to that. Mm-hmm. We're open book, right? We're not trying to hide anything. We're not fixing problems that don't exist. We're not telling people that they're getting certain things that they're not getting. You got to look at the transfer case kits. Now, I tell you, man, why don't you just do this yourself?
Yeah. We tried.
And
it's easy.
Yeah. Told you. It's just time consuming, right?
Yeah.
So, look. So that's what I would like to do, and we're trying to figure out how do we do it, in such a fashion that not you whatsoever, but there are guys out there that would just get the recipe and buy all the shit from somebody else, right? But we'd like to have shops do it themselves, man, and then we can support that faster than we can build 60 transmissions a month. If you gave me an order for 60 transmissions today, we could not deliver that in a timely fashion. No transmission shop in our industry, no performance guys could do. I would argue that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
So guys trying to start up their own business and take the baton from us where we are at now and carry on, what are some things that you would advise to this new and up-and-coming crowd? Hungry, younger kids. It's harder and harder to find them, but they are out there. What would you advise to some of those kids that want to go down this road and be a business owner?
Oh, so there's so much. There's so much I would like to tell. But look, I would tell you is no matter what, don't give up. Mm-hmm. Don't have a plan B. Succeed because you got no other choice but to succeed. You don't succeed, you don't eat. That's the way you got to feel, right? If you don't feel that way, then you're in the wrong line of business. Whether you start a snowball stand or a performance shop, it's the same stuff.
Yeah, the same rules apply, right? You still got customers, right. You still got a way to make money. So if you're going
to,
whatever you're going to do in life, whether it's this or something else, you got to do it 110%. Is that something
I would tell you, for the most, I would say, not so much anymore. It's starting to slow down because I'm starting to, my son-in-law is taking a lot of the load off, mentally from we have to deal with it. But man, I would tell you, for at least the last 17 years or so, maybe more, man, if I'm conscious, part of my brain's thinking about Southern Hotrod.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Good. Even when things are going great.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a chart. I gotta find it. I'll send it to you, man. It's a chart about how entrepreneurship is. It's like, oh yeah, this is really hard. This is really, oh man, this is really good. Oh shit, I suck. And it's you have to see it. I have them, but
the roller coaster of of
Yes.
entrepreneurship is true. So I get that a lot too with being in a family setting or any kind of anything. I might be sitting there quiet in an environment and not there, or short-worded because my mind is thinking of the other stuff, the things that need to get done, the next moves, the next steps, how
and there's always next
more
steps.
Horsepower, how can we do this? What's the next thing that we can do? What's the weak point? So I often come off as rude or
I can see that. I mean, not that I'm not saying you're being rude, but I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so like the mind just ventures off. And I think it's different in an entrepreneur mindset versus people who don't fight in the trenches like we are. They have a different view of the world, right?
Of course.
So
5 o'clock, it's over.
Yeah, 5, it's over. They shut it off. They go home. They can go to the gym. They can do whatever they want, and that's it. We can't shut that off. So we're always in this fight or flight. We need to. Somebody is. My fear is, or what keeps me pushing, is that there's somebody else that woke up earlier than me.
Oh, working harder than you.
That worked harder than me, that stayed longer than me, that got that edge over me. And so it just keeps me pushing. Right after this, I got to go to the track. We're going to the track till about 2 a.m. right after we shoot this pod.
I would tell you, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. It's advice you didn't ask for, so take it or leave it, whatever. I would tell you, don't forget, you got small kids, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important than that.
Yeah.
Don't forget to take time to smell the roses.
Yeah, those kiddos are freaking awesome.
I'm telling you, look, the point I'm saying is working harder than everybody else is great. I get it, man.
Yeah.
But, man, if there's something I regret in life, it's not going. When my kid said, Daddy, come see. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of times I said, I'm busy. I can't do it right. Well, it wasn't important. It's always important because you never get that back.
Yeah.
So,
that's been the hard balance that I've been trying to fight.
It's tough. It's tough, man. I'm not judging. Don't get me wrong, because I did this. Look, dude, I slept in the shop, dude. Look. Everybody come to work, and I'm leaving to go take a shower. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, I look many times. Yep. So I'm not judging. Don't misunderstand.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it's a challenging thing. So, now, how old are your kids now?
Oh, yeah. My son's about to be 22. So he's 21 and my daughter's 24.
Yeah. So, 2 kids. So my son's older. We just got back from a soccer game he's been doing. So I'm in the trenches now because they're 4 and 3.
Woo! Yeah, I remember the days.
So we're going through it right now, but it's a lot of fun. It's been great raising kids, running the business. I feel like having the kids has made me more hungry. But more hungry in a sense that not of making better use of my time. So if you as a customer want me, you're going to pay more for it because my time now costs more. Right? So
gosh, I wish I would have realized that a lot sooner.
So
you're right.
Now it's there. If you want me to, I've proved the recipes. I've proved everything that we can do. We're fast. We know how to build a fast car. So if you want me and you want my advice, you're going to pay me for my advice. You're going to pay me for my time. You're going to pay me to go out to the track and all of that. Because,
totally agree. Yes.
I do. I enjoy being a dad. It's the greatest thing ever. But
you love what you do here too.
It is,
right? Because I can tell you, I can honestly tell you that there has not been one day, and I repeat, not one day, that I've woken up and said, "Man, I just don't want to go in." Mm-hmm. I can't wait to come to work. I don't even call it work. I don't even know why I just said work. I always say I'm going to the shop, not work.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Same. Yep.
I mean, this is. I mean, outside of my wife and my children, this is my life.
Is it scary to think that 20 years, do you think after that, when your retirement comes, can you turn that switch off?
Oh, I'm not going to retire. I can't retire. We're going to sit home and watch fucking TV?
How are you going to do that? How are you going to, if someone takes over SHR, what are you going to do next?
Ooh, that's a fucking tough question. So I'm hoping, right? So I would like to see that we have a building of our own at that point, when it's time for me to semi-retire. And I can have a machine in the corner and I could just go do stuff, right? And let them run the day-to-day stuff and let me develop new shit. And then I like doing it. And it all boils down to this. And you're good at it because you're a business owner. I'm good at it because I like solving problems. That's what being a business is all about. You buy it for $1, you sell it for $2, and you solve problems in between. That's it.
Yep. Yeah.
So
that's the nutshell of what we do, right? Is problem solving. We need transmissions to hold power. That's a problem. So how are you going to solve that problem?
Show me what's broken, and then I can figure out how to make it work.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it's been a number of years ago. I went to there was like this. I don't know if you ever heard of 10,000 Small Businesses.
No.
It's a program, and you go in. It's almost like they say it's a MBA, like a crash course MBA. And I listened to everything they said, all of that, and talked to. The best thing was it was a lot of networking, a lot of all different kind of businesses, and I mean all from a guy that sold wheelchairs to a lady that owned a place that did metal work and all. I mean, like construction of metal buildings, or I guess they call it iron work or whatever. So that was very interesting, and man, it was humbling because I thought everybody in the room knew more than me.
Yeah.
But what it all boiled down to is what I just said: buy it for $1, sell it for $2, and solve problems in between. That's it.
Yeah, that's a interesting, but it's true. It's a day-to-day thing that we go through. So,
how many people you got come to you and say, "Hey, man, I want to start my own business"?
We have a few. We have a few out there in the world. It's probably one or two, maybe every 3-4 months that kind of come in and do. They want to get into cars, or people we meet at the track that are in the business and see what we're doing success-wise. And they're always asking, what is it? What's the secret? Or we get this a lot. Must be nice.
Oh, I get that a lot too. Yeah.
It's not.
Right now, 20 years later, yes, it is nice.
Yeah, yes. But it's all the work, which is why I wanted this podcast to go on to see that, even as new customers, new people looking for your kind of services, they may not know that you've been in this for 20 years. They just got into this 6 months ago,
Oh, most people don't.
So,
right?
Yeah. So, I want this part to show that, what you see now is years of sacrifices, work, grinding, tears. I mean, just getting up, taking it in the chin, and going again. Coming back.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because I get that it must be nice. Man, I'd like to start my own business. What do I need to do and all that? And I'll come up with one question. You can steal this, right?
Okay.
One question. Anybody says they want to start their own business, I ask them a very simple question. I said, listen, I don't want you to think about the answer. I want you to blurt out the answer as soon as I ask you this question. Are you ready to take everything you own, and I repeat, everything you own, and push it all on red right now? Right now. And if you got to think about it, you're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be able to take big risks. If you see an opportunity right now, I know that if you're an entrepreneur that I think you are, you're going to take a big risk to move forward.
Yeah. We're going to jump.
Well, you're doing it. You're building a building.
Yeah. Yeah. We're jumping on it. Yeah.
That's no simple task. Most people don't realize that, but that's a big deal.
Height of inflation, height of interest rates. Now they're coming down, but at the peak of interest rates, at the peak of inflation, we are paying more, and it is a risk. So people, here's a prime example of that. People constantly are saying, I can't believe that you're building a building right now in this economy. And I can see how some people can say or see that as, and that's in any kind of investment or move, right? The economy scares them to make moves. I get it. That is the difference in mindsets. The economy may cost me more right now to build it, but it's slowed down enough to where I can negotiate it better. Okay? So people aren't building homes as fast. People aren't building businesses as fast because interest rates are high. So construction's kind of slowed down a little bit. All this other stuff has kind of slowed down. But what it's allowed me to do is, one, get the land that I wanted to and think about it and not have someone else just throw 50, 100 grand on top of it just to get it. You know, so
Yeah.
it's been able to let me make that move, that decision, and think about it and do that. We saw that piece of property before we left to Disney a couple years ago. And we looked at it and we were like, man, that's going to be awesome. Maybe when we get back, we'll take a look at it and see. We were gone for about a week and a half. The land was still there. And that's unheard of. I mean, it's in the middle of void, right? This and it was priced so cheap that I thought for sure it was going to be gone. It was for 24 acres.
It's pretty good.
I mean,
in a good area.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, that's not going to be there. So, you know, if it's there, great. If it's not, we at least know that we can keep looking in that general area maybe. No, it stayed there the whole time. So the economy has allowed us to make our moves, maybe at a little bit more expense, but has allowed us to make that moves. But hopefully when things turn back around and a different regime change, maybe all of that investment now doubles. So it's allowed us to make those moves without rushing and making mistakes, you know. So, yeah.
Well, you're going to make mistakes. You know that. You're going to make mistakes, right? You want to mitigate that and make the least amount possible. But look, remember what I told you earlier. You're successful in spite of the government, not because of the government, right?
Yep.
Think about this. Think about how cool it is that, all right, so you've been in business for 17 years. Right? You're doing something right. You bought land. You built the building. You got all the equipment. You got this. You got that. You got a thriving business. Man, look, life is good, man. You know, that old saying, man, I hate to be cliche. I guess is a way to say it. I hate to be like that, but you never work a day in your life if you do what you love.
Yep. I love every minute of it.
Yeah. I mean, even the bad times. Right? I mean,
I love every minute of it.
When you're breaking ground on, you already poured the concrete, right?
Concrete's poured, buildings up, windows.
Oh, you have the build up.
Yep, buildings up, bay doors are in, dyno rooms built. We're doing on the inside of the building the same R panel, like the metal buildings are on the outside. We're doing the same R panel finish on the inside, so it's going to be real nice inside. 5 air conditioner units because I am tired of sweating. 5 AC units.
I got it.
And
we air condition our shop, and it's been the best thing. So yes, I totally agree.
Yep. So
who cares?
So we're excited. But
you guys will love you.
Yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to wrap this up, and usually the way that we wrap up this podcast is a piece of advice, whether it be an advice that you would give Eddie 20 years ago from something you've learned now to give Eddie 20 years ago advice, or the next upcoming people. What piece of advice would you give yourself or the next generation that's looking to be an entrepreneur?
So start sooner. You know, the hardest part of starting your own business is starting your own business. Right? Would you agree? Taking that step? That's the hardest part. So, and no matter how tough you think it is, it will get better. And never give up. Never, ever give up. But, you know, I'm doing that. So I don't know if that, I mean, I guess I already knew that.
Yeah.
So if I was telling a guy, you know, that's starting this business today is, man, you got to I'll give you one statement. My uncle told me this a while ago, man. It really rings true on anything. And it's a very simple statement. Passion is proven in the pursuit. Think about that.
Yeah.
So we could talk about it all day long, man. Look, if you got an issue with that chair that's to your right, that one in the back right there, you know how I'm going to know you're passionate about that chair? You're going to go online. You're going to find a book about that chair. You're going to figure out how to put the rivets in that chair. You're going to figure out why that weld is like that. You're going to figure out all of that shit on your own with nobody telling you to.
Yeah.
Because you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
So I would say have passion in what you do. Never give up and start sooner.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
That's awesome. Well, Eddie, that's going to wrap this up. I appreciate everything you've done. I appreciate our business relationship. I appreciate you as an individual pushing this transmission in new ways that we're able to do that. And, the knowledge, advice, years of service into our Dodge dream,
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate everything that you've done. And, maybe we'll get you back on here shortly and touch base some more on some new adventures you got coming up whenever that time's ready.
Good talking with you, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Can't wait to see this. And hopefully Jay's wife is okay and
gets to feeling better. All righty. That's it.
Let's go to the bottom of them sevens.
Yeah, let's do it. All righty. Thank you, guys. We'll see you. This is it. Deep Stage episode. And thank you guys for tuning in. And stay tuned for this one and many more to come. Make sure you like, subscribe to the Deep Stage Podcast, Instagram, Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on all those. It's very important that you subscribe to those so you get those notifications when awesome, badass episodes like this air. You get notified so you can watch and see what we're doing and what we're up to. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next.